So what you're going to do is you're going to start off by drawing a circle. This doesn't have to be perfect, but dang, that looks like a pretty nice circle. And then once you have that circle, draw a line directly in the center. This doesn't have to be perfect, but once again, the more that's in the center is better. Then you are going to mark out where the chin is going to end. I'm going to end it about here for a teenager. I'm going to choose about here. I think that looks pretty good. Then you're going to take this, draw a line from the circle and tilt it downward. So please don't draw the head from a straight line down here. It's going to make the head look very boxy. Unless if that's what you want, then do what you want. Here, instead, you're going to tilt it downward and then curve it down towards the chin and end at a point. Now this doesn't have to be a super pointy chin like this. It can be a little bit of a rounder, softer point. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take this point right here, draw it to the other side, and then match it up so that you have a symmetrical head. And here you have a head mostly drawn in the front view. Then you're going to add in the ears. I like to make sure that the end right before the jawline comes in and not make it super high where it's like basically up to here. So I think this is a pretty good size right here. Then you're going to add in the neck. I think here is good. If you want to do so, use tick marks to mark out where you want it to be and make sure that it's mostly symmetrical. Since this is a front view, this center line is still very important for the neck. You do not want a lopsided neck where one side is thicker than the other. So this looks about right to me. And there you got mostly the head constructed. Now what you're going to do is you're going to add in the proportions. So from the top to the bottom of the head, halfway or a little bit halfway for an anime character is the eye line. The brow ridge, depending on how big the eye is probably going to be around here, but leave some space for the hair later. I'm going to put it around here. And then the nose is going to be halfway between the eye and the bottom of the chin. So I'm going to place it here, or if this is too low, make it a little bit higher. For anime, because this head is a lot smaller, make it a little bit higher. And following that is the mouth. For the side view, what we're going to do is draw a ellipse. Now this is not to be confused with a perfect circle. The back of the head is actually, or the head in the side view is actually more like an oval rather than a circle. And then what you're going to do is you're going to draw a line straight down or almost straight down and mark out where the chin is going to be. Once again, if this head is about this big, we don't want the neck to be too long or else it won't fit the head size. And if this is a chibi, you might want to, the cranium might actually look a lot bigger than you initially drew it. So here, just choose where you're going to end the chin. If I'm going to line this up to the front view, I'm gonna have to like make it about as big as the front view. So this looks about right. To find the jawline, you're basically gonna draw the inside of the temples of the head, which is just like a little ellipse inside of this larger ellipse. Divide this in half, approximately, and here you got the jawline. So the jawline comes out straight, then it comes out at an angle. So it connects to the chin and a diagonal line, and then goes straight up. The neck is going to be attached more diagonally, so rather than drawing a straight line like this, it's actually tilted this way, and it comes from the back of the head, travels down, and there's the neck. For the proportions, I'm going to take the same measurements as the front view. Top and bottom of the head, halfway or a little bit lower than that is the eye line. For an anime character, it's going to be a little bit lower than halfway, about here. A little bit higher than that is the brow ridge. Halfway between the eyes and the nose, and the bottom of the chin is the nose, but because this is an anime character, I'm going to mark it a little bit higher. And then we got the mouth right after. The ear is going to come, for an anime character, it's going to come out from the eye, or a little bit higher than the eye, and it's going to end at around the nose. Anything bigger than that, it's going to look way too big. Alright, so now we got the proportions, then we can actually draw in the side profile view. So I'm going to keep the measurements right here, and all I'm going to do here is actually just do a little slip and slide. So I'm going to take the forehead, I'm going to keep it pretty smooth, and then right around the eye line, I'm going to push the nose out. And then for the mouth, I'm going to make it so that the nose and the bottom of the chin form a diagonal line. It's not a hard rule, but it makes the side profile look really nice and cute. And it's going to be around where the mouth line is. Then we're going to erase. There we go. So that way we can actually see the proportions, but also not lose the drawing underneath. So now let's work on the 3/4 view. I'm going to make these a little bit smaller. There we go. For the 3/4 view, you're going to draw in a circle, make the back part a little bit wider. Then you're going to take a line and draw the center line a little bit leaning towards the side. Then you're going to drop a line straight down, and this is where your chin is going to be. You're going to draw the same mask as you did similarly to the side view. Then you're going to chip away at the temples here. This side is round, this side is flat. You're going to take that halfway point, here's a jawline, and you're going to connect that to the chin. This might be a little bit too wide, so I'm going to actually chisel it in here instead. Here's the neck. The neck comes out at a bit of an angle for this particular view, and it's going to be a cylinder. Then what you're going to do is you're going to mark out the proportions as always. So here, top of the head to the bottom, halfway is about the eyes, but I'm going to make it a little bit lower because I want this to be cutesier. A little bit higher than that is the brow. Halfway between the brow and the bottom of the chin is the nose, and I'm going to make it about here. And here's a mouth. So if you want to draw a 3/4 view that looks more similar to this head type, I might need to actually make the chin a lot shorter this time. So I'm going to push the chin up and actually move and adjust the features. So the nose and the mouth will actually be pushed a little bit higher this time. To draw the 3/4 view a little bit better, you're going to take the side of the head here, drop it down, and then push out the cheek, and then meet it down towards the center, or towards the chin. And then you're going to add in the ear, which is approximately where the eye line is to the bottom of the nose. Here's your brow ridge, here's your nose. Your nose can be drawn with like a little hook and a little point up here. And then your mouth is actually leaning more towards the side. So this is actually a little bit too close to the edge of the face. We actually want to move it in a little bit more. The neck also needs to be a little bit thinner for this head shape. I'm going to chisel that in a little bit more. And there we go. So now we're going to add in some really quick features. I'm not going to be detailing these features. I'm just going to be adding some placeholder features for this. So for the eyes, for the front view, the eye line is more of like a range. So I generally want it to be basically smaller than the brow ridge and smaller than the nose. The lowest you can get is basically the nose line. Other than that, it'll be a little bit too big. So I'd say that my eyes that I want to add are going to be about this big. It's within the eye line, but it's not like I'm not restricted to the eye line and trying to force it to be over there. So this looks pretty good to me. This shape looks really nice. I can always add more details later. And then if I want to draw the other side, I got to make sure that the distance between the eyes is about 1 eye length apart. Maybe a little bit less depending on how big the eyes are. And to draw the other side, I just add in like little cross lines, or I just add in lines and draw to the other side to make it so that it ends on the same plane. And I make sure that the shape is overall the same size and the same shape. This might need to be a little bit lower. For the nose, it's just going to be like a little dot for now, or like a little triangle on the side. And then for the mouth, it's going to be a simple smile like that. And then for the eyebrows, I'm just going to add in quick little lines angling downward to make them look a little bit tougher. And I can always detail in the lines afterwards. For the side view, we're basically going to draw in the same features, just using our front view as reference. The eyebrow is up here. The distance between the eye and the eyebrow itself is probably about here. And for the side view of the eye, it's actually going to look more like a triangle. So this is flat, or a little bit flatter, has a little bit of roundness to show the eyeball, and then this will be pointed. And then here we have the smile. And last but not least, for the 3/4 view, we're going to draw in the brows, making sure that they're all placed within the proportions that we set up. For the side, or for the 3/4 view of the eyes, this eye will actually appear more like a triangle. But this eye will appear a little bit more like full, like a hexagon. So for drawing a eye in a different angle, this one will lean more towards the side, like a triangle, and then the eye that's facing towards us will show more sides. So it looks like that. And then we got to make sure that the end up around the same spot, so one eye isn't lower than the other. So I like to draw a line kind of wrapping around the other side to keep it even. This eye right here will be closer to the nose. This eye right here will be a little bit further away from the nose, but I feel like this is a little bit too far away, so I'm going to move it in a little bit more. So all that's left to do is to detail in the features, because right now this looks really dead. So I'm going to take a soft eraser and erase most of the front view of the face. This is because I just want things to be a little bit cleaner. And I'm just going to erase some of the side view here, and then a little bit of the 3/4 view. So for the front view, I'm going to actually start detailing the eyes. You can start off with the lash line. I thicken the lash line just a little bit so you can see that I'm drawing an outline here. This is so that I can gauge, how thick I want the lash line to be without going full on shading and then just erasing it later. So I always like to draw an outline first to determine how far or how thick I want this part to be. Now you can make it as thick as you want or as thin as you want. Once again, depends on your style. I like to go at about this thick because it still maintains the shape of the eye that I originally had. If I make it too thick, it's just going to be a little bit too it's going to change the shape of the eye, which is not what I want. So I add in the bottom parts of the eye, I add in a little bit of the nose, I clean it up, add a bit of the lids, and I'm going to draw a shape for the eyebrows. I use a little triangular shape right here. I make sure that the inner corners of the eyebrows is a little bit thicker than the ends. The ends is a little bit tapered. And then I draw in the irises, which I chose to make it lean further to our right, just so that it doesn't look cross-eyed. But you can choose whichever direction that you want for the character to look. And then I shade in the top parts of the eyes, including the pupil. And then after that, I add in a little highlight with the eraser tool. So just something really quick and simple. And it's also really easy because you already have the shape all figured out. And that's always one of my top tips to drawing the eye or drawing the other eye and make it symmetrical, is start off with the shape, make sure the shape itself is symmetrical, and then all you have to do is just fill in the details later. So for the side view, we're going to basically use the same proportions here. I'm just going to fill in the shape of the eyebrow with the same triangular shape that I used before, and I'm just going to continue filling in the lash line as well as finishing off the details in the eye. I'm going to add it in the eyelid and then the lower lid, and make sure that they end approximately around the same area as the same spot as the front view, if you're going to go for more of an orthographic view. And then I'm going to add in the iris, which is going to be more of like a little sliver or of an ellipse rather than a full circle. And then I'm going to add in the mouth really subtly, just adding 2 little lines on the side, and make sure it doesn't go past the eyes. And then that's pretty much it for the side profile. As a little detail, I'm also adding in the ear, or the details of the ear. Just really simply, I'm adding in the earlobe as well as the little bit of the inside of the ear. And now let's move on to the 3/4 view. We're basically doing the same thing. I'm drawing the lash line. I'm actually poking the lashes just a little bit outside of the head here. This is just to give a little bit more depth, but overall this is just the same process as I've done in the previous views. Just thickening the lash line. I'm making the eye that's further away from us a little bit more skewed, but I'm always just going to be following the shape that I drew previously. I'm adding in the lower lid and the eyelid at the top, and then I'm going to draw in the little triangles for the eyebrow. I'm also curving it slightly to match the curvature of the skull. And then I'm going to draw in the irises of my choice. I'm placing them more towards our right. Then I'm going to add in the pupils and then shade in the top part of the eye. And there we go. So there we have it, 3 anime heads in less than 15 minutes. I hope that you found this helpful. Let me know what you think, and if you like this content, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so that you know the next time we post. Anyways, that's it for me, and I'll see you in the next one.